peeps, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the grayscale trusts and also some recent news on grayscale since you guys asked. So with that being said, let's get it. Okay, so I was curious to see if there was any dilution on the shares. Again, this is not something that we would normally cover. We just do the technicals here at the channel because, again, we're technical traders. We don't usually cover a lot of news for crypto because most of it's not really, in my opinion, that relevant, maybe with the exception of some big news like the spot ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum, or even like Trump suggesting the Bitcoin strategic reserve. Obviously, that's very big news, right? So stuff like that, or the Fed cutting rates, which obviously is very bullish for risk on assets, okay? Things that kind of more or less indirectly affect the markets. But there is actually some news. So you guys can see here November 8th, which is today. If I click on this, you can basically see that I'm not going to read deep into this, but pretty much it says that Grayscale has some kind of intention here to perhaps maybe do some reverse share splits, is what it looks like. So, and again, these are not for all the trusts. According to this article, it's basically the mini trust for ETH and the mini trust for BTC. So BTC would get a 1-to-5 reverse stock split, and then the 1-to-10 reverse stock split for the mini ETH trust. So I'm not sure really how big or how small the minis are compared to the big size ones. The minis and futures not the minis and futures, the micros and futures are roughly about 1/10 the size of the minis. So like the micro S&P is 1/10 the size of the mini S&P. Okay, so I'm not sure if it's like a 1/10 to 10/10 comparison here, if you guys get what I'm saying. Again, I haven't actually looked into the mini versions because we only talk about the full size versions here, but you guys will have to look into that. You could just type in a quick ticker symbol if you know what it is, and then just look into it for yourself. So, anyways, it kind of shows you here what to expect. So pre-split for the BTC1 500 shares. Post-split, you would basically have 100 shares here. So your share price value would be $10 per share instead of $2. So it would effectively be the same notional value in terms of dollars invested, but the value of the shares would go up and the amount of shares would go down. That's how it works. And the same thing for the ETH, mini ETH one here. So in terms of the other trusts and any possible share dilution, I didn't see anything. So with that being said, let's get into it, okay? All right, so a lot of people are like, well, LTCN BCHG are not going up, but the rest of it, they're going down, but the rest of the crypto market's going up. I mean, it might be a sell the rumor event. They're looking at the spot mini, basically the mini ETH and Bitcoin trusts and thinking, well, maybe if they're going to do that to those ones, they're going to do it to the rest of them. I don't know, guys. They haven't given us any news on that. That's pure speculation. That could be happening. But I think that's probably a shot in the dark, in my opinion. I think it's more so just the fact that, a lot of these have not fully broken out of the technicals yet. And maybe there's some shorts, some bears in there that are wanting to dump. Or maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say. But I mean, regardless, look, we still got the MACD Golden Cross here. Okay, it just turned green. Again, these things don't usually pop off immediately. You can see this one kind of slowly went up in a very similar fashion here on LTCN. Again, this is not going to be perfect, but you can kind of see what I'm getting at here. So we had a downtrend and then what looked like to be some kind of bear flag, but this is not really an obvious bear flag. And then eventually it melted up after weeks and weeks of consolidation. Okay, so we're essentially seeing the same thing here. I'm not saying it's going to play out exactly the same way. It could be more aggressive to the upside this time, but you can see kind of the similarities back here. Downtrend, up and sideways, and then boom, right? Downtrend, up and sideways, boom. But again, I can't say with certainty that that's how this is going to play out. Okay, I don't want to give you guys any false hope here. So the point I want to make here is that we are still within this kind of bear flag formation. Again, if this was a bear flag, and I'm not saying it is, but this is actually how you would measure it. And please don't misunderstand me. I am not saying this is a bear flag, but this is, in my opinion, highly unlikely. Okay. usually the price of cryptocurrencies for the most part do not go back to their bear market lows until the following bear market. I've already showed you this in previous content. So as of right now, support is still between 13 to roughly about that 16 area. Again, like I'll say before, we got to get above the trend line in the EMAs to truly be bullish here. That may take a little time to play out, maybe another week or two. It's hard to say. So 25 to 27, and then you got 54 at the swing highs here. I mean, so 131 to 360%. So you guys are probably wondering, well, why are you buying native crypto instead of the Grayscale Trust? Well, look, we feel like we're in the game too late here in the Grayscale Trust, to be honest. We took profit last year and somewhat into this year and all that. But we've already been in native crypto since like almost 2.5 years now. So, and with Gary Gensler getting out of the way, he'll be gone soon because Trump's going to fire him, guaranteed 100%. Well, I can't say 100%, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to fire him. He said he was going to fire him, so I don't have any reason to believe that Trump is lying here. But with him out of the way and somebody more pro-crypto in the SEC, I don't think people in the native space will have to worry so much about this problem anymore. And then, of course, you have the goons like Elizabeth Warren trying to witch hunt people. Trump already said he's going to not allow that to happen, so... you have this inverse head and shoulders here on BCHG. Again, I can show you guys the target for this. You guys are probably wondering, well, why is it pulling back? Well, that's pretty normal, actually, believe it or not. Usually when these things have a breakout, they usually pull back and retest the previous resistance as support. That's pretty much what this neckline is. So target here, roughly about $11. You guys can obviously see it already hit that, but it doesn't mean it can't just bounce off this white line and boom, go straight up. So support here between $6.30 to $8. Your kind of target areas here, $10.40 to about $20. Then you got 24 at the swing high up there. So the measured move here could be as much as 260% gain. And I do want to make one more thing clear. So the different sectors in crypto and the different positions within each sector are likely not going to move all at the same time, okay? So like the native space is not going to move the same time perhaps as the grayscale space. And then the grayscale space may move at different times than the crypto stocks like the Bitcoin miners and Coinbase and MicroStrategy. They're probably all going to move at different times, okay? Each respective space will probably move at different times, and each respective crypto within those spaces will probably move at different times. It's not going to all move perfectly in sync. So, I mean, you guys just got to be realistic about this. It's not going to all rip to the moon all at the same time. I mean, it could happen, but that hasn't been my experience. So, HZEN, so we did actually get a weekly close back within this channel. So clearly it's not ready to break out yet. I'm not really surprised. We're actually loading the boat on the underlying horizon right now because we think it's cheap. I think it's personally cheap still here. Again, if you missed the opportunity to buy in this green zone, it's literally sitting right at the bottom. If you already got full bags, like let's say you have 1,000 shares or 2,000 shares or something, and you're like, I don't really care. I'm good to go. Well, okay. I mean, you don't have to buy it, but it's in the buy zone. So buy zone here, 350 to 410. Resistance, 670 to roughly about 12. I'd say about 12 and a quarter up there. 255% gain. And again, there's probably people that were buying like back in these areas back here that are still sitting on their positions waiting for this thing to rip up to the upside, okay? Again, a lot of these people are not going to be buying here because they already bought down here. And you'll have some people that will come into this space late, like I said, the retail space, and they'll be like, oh, well, it still seems cheap. I'm going to buy here. Look, I can tell you guys right now, in my opinion, I think a lot of these trusts are still pretty cheap. And this is technically a bull flag. Again, it does not really seem like it because you got to zoom out to see this, but once retail usually gets into the space, it usually sends these cryptocurrencies just absolutely skyrocketing to stupid heights. I've showed you guys some of the previous runs on the altcoins. I mean, it gets absolutely ridiculous. So the target in this case would be $28 if you guys were wondering about that. But yeah, anyways, in my opinion, it's still cheap. Okay, a lot of these are still cheap. 260% gain. I mean, if you guys love them, if you guys love these prices when they're more expensive, you should want to buy them when they're more cheap, right? I mean, this is just my opinion. You guys are free to think what you want. So, MACD Golden Cross, RSI Golden Cross, this is starting to look very bullish for ETCG. Am I surprised Ethereum's running up right now? Yeah, not really. It usually does run up pretty closely behind Bitcoin once it smashes all-time highs. And as you guys can see here, Bitcoin has smashed all-time highs and Ethereum is actually up quite a bit. So they usually don't run at the same time, but they can be kind of neck and neck, so to speak. Okay, so we're above the trend line here, but not above the zone in the EMAs. So the buy area as of right now would be 860 to roughly about 1050. Your target's 1330 to about 20. If I just give you guys the measure move here, it's going to be roughly about 135%. And again, it could obviously go much higher than that, easily much higher than that. Okay, so nice little double bottom here. There is a gap that needed to be filled. You guys can see this candle has come up to that gap and kind of more or less filled it. Now, in terms of gap fills, it could fill the gap and immediately reject and go down, or it could continue to go up. We are hitting a resistance, so it's hard to say which one is going to play out. But if the bull run continues on the cycle timing it always does, then even if there is a rejection here, it's likely just going to go higher anyways, in my opinion, because again, the timing is perfect for the bulls right now. But, of course, everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? So 1840 to 23 to about 28, somewhere in there is going to be that resistance, and then the cup and handle target at 47. So maximum move here, 162%. GBAT, this one got kind of really walloped, yeesh, and also GSOL. But like I said, if you guys have been sitting on cash on the sidelines and you're waiting for the position trade, so to speak, in this case, I would say it's probably it. Look, if I was going to position trade GBAT, what I would do is I would say, okay, if I'm going to put $5,000 into this, let me put 2,500 in here at this green zone, since it's perfectly positioned here, and let me wait and put the other 2,500 in case it gets down here, right? And if it doesn't get down here, okay, well, I don't make as much money, but I did manage to time at least halfway at the bottom, right? So you're basically hedging against both directions. You put 50% here and it goes up. Well, you only made 50% of your money, but in the event that it doesn't go down here, you were actually right on timing the bottom. But if it does go down here, then you can load the other 50% and your cost base is going to be somewhere around here. And you're reducing your risk and increasing your upside simultaneously. This is one of the powerful things about position trading if you understand how to do it right. So this is, I would say, based on these wicks down here, this is likely going to be support. So 440 to about 520. And then you got anywhere from 810 to about 32. And again, position traders will sit on cash and not have their money invested with DCA. And they'll literally just sit on cash and wait for almost exactly the perfect entry point, and then just pile a crap ton of money into that position immediately once they see it, okay? So 633% move here. FILG, FILG, whatever you want to call it. So this one is still kind of pulling back. It's not below this red candle, though. So I would say as of right now, anywhere between probably 20 to up to about 43 would be a good buy area. Of course, if you're worried about it, the lower levels here would be 410 to about $12, and then you have 400 at the highs there. So just taken from the current price to the highs, 1,400% gain. GLIV did not move at all. So it's currently sitting at the lows here. This isn't really a bearish or a bullish candle, but the fact that it's sitting at the lows does kind of concern me a little bit. So we'll see. We'll have to see what next week looks like. But I'll just say that the lower support is 2.25 to 650. The support zone above head, which actually I guess technically now would be resistance until we get back above it. Again, this could easily be an undercut, and it could just V-shape straight back up. So 12 to 15, and then roughly about 80 there at the all-time high. So roughly about 700% gain. G-Link, I mean, again, if you guys were waiting for the golden dip buying opportunities, they're coming here. It looks like pretty quickly. I mean, these are some pretty large drops. This could be a shakeout before it eventually goes up. I mean, the crypto markets are notorious for doing stuff like this. So I would say probably anywhere between 27 here to maybe as high as 44 is kind of the buy zone. The lower level here would be 19 to about 22 if you guys are worried about it. And then 65 to as high as 220 is going to be the target up here. So roughly about a 650% gain. Oof. Yeah, that's a nasty one. What the hell happened here? Okay, I do not know what is going on here, but clearly some really large sell order. Okay, this is probably a whale, maybe, or I'm not sure. You guys can see this volume on this thing is insane. So, uh, I don't know. That's kind of crazy. I wouldn't have expected it would drop like that. That is pretty weird considering that. Let's see here. Maybe, yeah, see, Solana's still pretty high up there. So, this one I'm not so sure. I would just say it's probably a whale or institution that maybe dumped the shares and the price, of course, capitulated. I mean, if you've been sitting on cash, this is a great opportunity. If not, well, I mean, I will tell you guys this. There was a reason I wasn't buying it up here when it was chopping sideways because, again, it already had a big move up. A lot of times when it's at highs like this and it goes sideways, that is just distribution, but it could have also went higher as well. So usually when there is some kind of sideways at the bottom, that's a better time to buy because prices are cheaper and that's typically accumulation. Yeah, it's hard to say what's going on with this one. I'll just give you guys a zone here. Okay, so 72 to 84. If you think this is going to go lower, that would be your zone. Again, drops like this in crypto, believe it or not, they happen all the time. Welcome to crypto, right? So the next zone here below that, let's kind of give a rough estimate here. If you guys are really seriously, crapping your pants right now, those of you in GSOL, so 24 to 50. I did remember telling you guys I didn't want to get in until it was around 170 to 190. It looks like I even underestimated just how big this drop would be. Yeah, that's a pretty large drop, but again, it went sideways, so am I really surprised something like this happened? Yeah, not really. So yeah, you guys got the zone down there. I don't think I need to repeat myself here. I am actually quite shocked that there was a drop that large. Okay, so 692% gain, but like I said, people sitting on cash, this is exactly what you want. So 1450 to 24 here. The swing high up here at 70. 370% gain. Mana, so yeah, this one unfortunately has actually broken this kind of downtrend line, so that sucks. So, I mean, it could bounce at 540 if you guys are worried about it. The bottom down here, 145 to 350 is going to be the next support. The all-time highs are at 70. Roughly about 800% gain from the current price. If, let's say, maybe it stops at the top of this support here, it'd be about almost a 2,000% gain. Zcash, nice little pullback off the top of the range. Again, that's completely normal. That's to be expected. It's going to keep in the range until it eventually does break out. When exactly that happens, I don't know. So the range here, the buy area is kind of 320 to roughly about 590. Then you got 8.25 to 10.25 as the kind of targets up there. So roughly about 218% gain. Look, in terms of these drops, here's why we took profit last year, okay? When you get the opportunity to take profit, you may not get another opportunity, okay? And if you're not going to take profit, somebody else probably will. Look, we don't want to be the guy that gets dumped on by the whales at the exact top of the market, okay? That's why we're doing this for you guys. That's why we're trying to inform you guys of what's going on early before retail shows up, because I'm pretty sure they haven't showed up yet. So that way you guys can get in early, get in ahead of the curve, hopefully get some nice gains, right? Because we all want to make money here. And yeah, we are giving you guys the data here to position yourselves if you want to early. But you got to understand, look, at the end of the day, you're not going to make money if you don't profit, okay? There's only technically 3 ways to make money in crypto, okay? 4 ways, actually. If you're in a position that doesn't pay a dividend, doesn't do staking, or doesn't do options, the only alternative that you have to make money is to either short the market or long the market and take profit. as the price goes up. Okay. Again, this is why it's important to take profits. And with the Grayscale Trust, there is no options, dividends, or staking, unfortunately. So the only way that you guys can make money, as far as I know, feel free to correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong about this, is by selling for a higher price than you bought it, right? So yeah, I mean, that's all I can say about that. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.